Hello and welcome. It is your favorite weekend show, Weekend Deal, coming to you from the network service of the NTA. Since yesterday, it's been about optimizing productivity both in the public and the private sector. Yesterday, it was said that there is low productivity, especially in the public sector. I mean, words like lackadaisical, laid back, waste of time, and so many other uncomplimentary adjectives were used to describe the Nigerian public service. But let me quickly add, even within the public service, some parastatals agencies are working very hard. I mean, look at us. We are here every day of the week, every week of the year to ensure that the job is done. As Nigerians, we must be people of integrity. When you apply for that job and you eventually get it, please do the job. Be committed to doing the job. Anyway, the conversation continues today. My name is Patience Eloy Abba Thelma. Thelma, come on, say something about this.
Patience, how are you today?
I'm fine.
This is productivity at its best.
Yeah.
And you're talking about motivation just a minute ago.
Mm-hmm.
It is very key. But do we also understand that we can self-motivate? Motivate yourself on a daily basis. Just like research shows that your happiness depends on you and comes from you. Make a decision on the daily to motivate yourself and by association, motivate and inspire others. That's why Zig Ziglar says, because they say it doesn't last, motivation should be a daily routine. Welcome to Weekend Deal. It's all about your productivity and hours of cost. It's important that we keep our word and not just showing up to do the job. We should be ingenious at it. We should be focused. We should be dependable. We should be reliable. We should have the grasp of what we're doing and forecast about what we can do in the months and the years to come. Consistency, as always, is key. That's why we are here every weekend, Saturday and Sunday, to add value to your day. And that's one key component, again, about productivity. Not just to do the job, but to add value and move it to another level. That's how legacy and the likes come up. We know you'll be a part of the show. Tell us about your experiences, what you're doing, what you intend to do. And as the work week takes off again tomorrow, how our program will impact your progress and by association, your development. It is Weekend Deal, your effervescent deal. The deal that keeps on giving, the unrelenting deal. The deal that cares about you and takes up topical issues that when resolutions are brought to the fore will have the most positive impact on you. Just like today, we began yesterday talking about productivity in the public and private sector. Where do you stand? Are you an entrepreneur? Do you work for an organization? Is it public or private? What is the value you are adding daily? Are you productive? Francis is delving in again today, and you know how he can be. He's always unrelenting. Francis, please share.
In Nigeria, optimizing productivity in both the public and private sectors is essential for fostering economic growth, enhancing competitiveness, and improving the overall well-being of the populace.
Productivity has become so affected by what is happening in our environment today. The pressures of not having enough money to take care of them, the pressures that their spouses put on them and the demand for what needs to be done, then the economic pressure that people have today, having to actually spend money that they earn. They spend almost 70% of the money they earn on transport. So that has hampered a lot of workers, both in the private sector and in the public sector. Fundamentally, handling productivity has a lot to do with selection. Where to start is, who are you employing? Today, many people employ people that don't know what to do, and they don't train them to expose them to what they need to do. So that is a minus already. The productivity, how can you get productivity when you employ someone that does not know what to do? Many organizations don't train anymore. They just employ you and dump you there. What they do is you copy from what you see people do, and they just copy what people are doing. And the people that you have in the system, a lot of them are already disgruntled, so they keep the system and the culture not meeting the expectation of what you really want.
Clear and efficient communication is paramount for optimizing productivity in both the public and private sectors. Effective communication ensures that goals, expectations, and tasks are clearly understood by all stakeholders, reducing misunderstanding and minimizing errors.
Then the social media, oh my God, they bombard workers today with too much information. People are on their phone 24/7. And you cannot communicate effectively in the organization today without getting distracted, because 80% of their time, they actually spend it on the social media. Some people have like 30 groups that they belong to. So if you are trying to meet up with those 30 groups, you'll be looking at your phone continuously. And anytime you look at your phone, you are distracted. So productivity is hampered.
Promoting stress management and well-being in the workplace is crucial for maintaining productivity without compromising efficiency.
The major stress puller is lack of money. If you are not well paid and you know you have obligations to attend to, if somebody is sick, you don't know how you're going to take care of the person in your family. If somebody has to go to school, you are thinking of, where will I get the money to pay school fees? In Nigeria, they pay salaries monthly and rents are collected yearly. All those are things that bombard the individuals, that make it impossible for them to actually concentrate. And if you have something that makes you not to concentrate, you start thinking. And as you are thinking, you are creating an opportunity to actually have high blood pressure. So people are walking around with a lot of pressures. So those things, when they come to the office, it actually shows. If you see a man that quarreled with his wife in the morning, oh, you didn't give me money, I need money to go to the market, things are increasing in the market. If the person comes to the office, do you expect the person to focus well? The thought of what happened at home will translate into what you have in the office. So organizations who employ people and they don't look at what the people's lifestyle is and how they are surviving and what is happening around them will have a lot of problems.
Sustaining productivity gains require a collective effort from individuals, organizations, and the government.
Productivity is a function of both the employer and the employee. A lot of workers today put their talent under the table. It doesn't pay me well, so why am I working? But if it doesn't pay you well and you are working, you are advertising yourself to people who pay well. And if you actually increase your productivity, somebody out there who sees how good you are will take you from that organization. The real secret of getting people to work for you is to give the right salary, pay well, employ right. Don't employ square pegs in round holes. Make sure you give incentive that will continuously give the people the impression that something better is coming. Expose them to training that will make them get to know what exactly you want them to do. The third one is you must know how to show appreciation to human beings. You can be showing appreciation to a human being and he will be sticking to you, work with you, and manage the salary that he's getting. A lot of organizations are suffering not because they don't have good hands, because they have good hands that are not doing anything. And if productivity is improved, the employers of labor will be happy, and the people that are working in those organizations will be happy because there will be harmony. And if the productivity improves, earnings will improve, and salaries will also increase.
Our focus on Weekend Deal today will be on optimizing productivity in Nigeria's public and private sectors.
Thank you so much, Francis. He has done it again. I'm smiling because it's always a pleasure listening to Mr. Francis Okumagba. And I kind of said at the beginning of the show, you have to motivate yourself. The salaries might not be right, but get it right. And like I also said, let's be a people of integrity. You wrote that letter, I beg to apply. Do your own part. You might be advertising yourself. That job might not pay, but somebody will see you at the post of your duty. picking up and mindful change. Anyways, what is the place of incentive and recognition in the workspace? Jennifer will take the lead this much.
Reward systems in the public and private sectors consist of financial and non-financial benefits, which are essential to the growth and development of every organization, business, or workplace. To recognize hard work, the employer needs to put in place systems that promote and reward hard work.
Employee incentive is about one will encourage employees to put up their best in performance, to give their best in performance, and towards the achievement of the goals of an establishment, especially a government establishment.
How important is incentive and reward program to an employee's productivity and efficiency?
It makes you put an extra effort. It makes you go the extra mile to put in your effort in achieving the organizational goals and objectives. It also serves as an incentive for you to work harder, for you to put in more in your schedule of duties, in your assigned duties.
When we talk about giving incentives to workers so that they can perform at their best, we are looking at what can they do to make service, give the best to public. And what at the end will be their own benefits. Because if a worker works, he deserves to be given some benefit. Not just his salary, not just allowances. We're talking about a whole entire gamut of things that will encourage him to work, things that will make him to see the future that is beneficial to him also, even if he retires. It includes training, development, and awards or gifts that you want to give employee while on duty. And even if he retires, he will not retire to go and die because he has finished his job. He will not retire and get sick because he has finished his job. He's supposed to retire and go back and stay back in a good life.
Monetary or non-monetary rewards are effective ways to make an employee feel valued, appreciated, and encouraged to do more. How often should an employee be rewarded for being efficient?
You see, an employee, the very day he is employed, has high hopes. And from that moment, if you want to get the best of an employee, you start from that point. First of all, when somebody is employed, he is given an orientation. Orientation means familiarity with the system where he is going to work. He is given opportunity to go around the system and apply all the knowledge that is required for every kind of work, so that if he's moved from one place to another, he's familiar with the whole system. So I can't see any point where this motivation thing, this encouragement and benefits or rewards will end. They start and continue until the person finishes his career.
Anytime an employee goes the extra mile to do something, he should be commended. That's a sort of incentive. He should be motivated. Verbal commendations, written commendations, all these are sort of incentives you can give to an employee in the workplace. Then the monetary aspects can also come in. It can be quarterly, it can be monthly, it can be yearly, depending on the strength of that organization.
The frequency of incentives and rewards should not be the only factor considered. Rewards should also be meaningful and align with the goals and values of the workplace and the unique needs and motivation of every employee.
Dexterity doesn't hide. Hard and smart work is obvious for everyone to see. So when we talk about performance, there are indicators and they are often obvious. It's time for us to meet our guest. Our first guest is Mr. Adewumi Adepoju. He is an accountant.
Hello, morning.
You're welcome, sir. You're most welcome. Okay, our second guest is a delectable woman, a woman who has given so much to broadcasting. And she's from Lux Terra Leadership Foundation. I'm talking about no other but Inya Ode.
It's great to be back on Weekend Deal.
Welcome. And it's time to meet our third and last guest for our package today. She is Christy Eleojo Adejo. She's a management consultant and a very well-known trainer.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's great to be here. Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, let's get this conversation started. If you look at this set, please show this set. Show this set. Our set is not gender sensitive today. It's all women, women, women. And you know when women power is in a room, it's powerful. So, I mean, just sit back and relax. You're going to have a good conversation. And I will start with Inya.
Okay.
No,
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. Do you think that women are contributing enough to the productivity as far as the workspace is concerned? Are we doing enough as women?
Is anybody doing enough? That's the thing. There's so much to be desired, but I think in our own way, we're actually putting in the best that we can. There's still so much more that we can do. There's room for a lot of improvement. But in the spaces I have been and, from what I see, we're actually doing our best. I mean, both of you are doing your ultimate best, right? Putting in your best foot forward. But there's so much more that can be done. There's so much more that can be done.
Okay, let me have a conversation with Mr. Adewumi. Now let's go around the circle. Men, women, everyone contributing their quota to productivity in Nigeria. There's been affirmations about giving incentives to those who are performing optimally as a way to inspire and motivate others. How can that work in the best way possible? If it were up to you.
You see, when it comes to motivation, it propels workers to put in their best. It is not the only thing that makes workers to put in their best, but motivation is a key factor. If you give an assignment, you expect it to be carried to the last letter. But in the process of doing it, there may be one hiccup or the other on the way that the labor, that is the worker, will have to pass through to get it done. If in the process of doing this, you just say, oh, what a good job you are doing. Thank you goes far. Well done is another. It is not money
all the time.
Though money is important. Very. It goes back. You see, people think motivation is all about money. It is not. Money is important.
Yes.
But even a pat at the back
Yes.
is a motivating factor.
Yes.
So we have to understand it as we go on in the course of the program.
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay. Christy Elijah Adejo, I do know that you're not just a trainer, you are a management consultant, and I also know that you're a public speaker. Where's the place of articulation where people are not able to articulate their thoughts, express themselves well? There's a various productivity. Do you think it affects it? Let's say I'm a boss and I'm not able to tell my subordinates. I'm able to articulate my thoughts and what I want my subordinates to do. Do you think it affects, or anyhow I say it, I mean, it's your headache to have said my say. You go and learn what I said and do what I want. Do you think where's the place of public speaking or speaking correctly as far as service delivery is concerned?
Okay, thank you very much. That's quite apt, because if you don't set clear goals, if you don't communicate the goals in a smart and clear way, in a concise way, how are we to understand what to do? So the place of public speaking, or the place of the right communication, is very, very critical in getting productivity and in improving productivity. If you tell your subordinate things in a confused manner, they're going to deliver in that same confused manner. Added to that is the fact that if you don't give them an impression that you know what you're doing, then you can't inspire them. Oftentimes, that's the reason for despondency in some work environment. Because if the boss is not clear enough, then they don't see that knowledge or skill set that they expect to be mentored by. So sometimes you talk to them and they say, well, I don't think he understands what he's saying. So it's important to have clear communication, whether in setting goals, whether in giving guidelines, and whatever. But at the root of all this is the need for training and development. I keep saying that all the time. Training and development. Some people may come onto the job with not enough skills, but whilst there, they get the right training, the right development programs. And that's why every organization, whether public or private, should actually place a premium on training and development, amongst other things that can contribute to productivity.
That sounds very interesting. Really, you need to be effective when you're communicating with everyone you work with, your peers, subordinates, superiors, everyone indeed. Let me have this. Let me share this with you.
Sure.
It's like people have placed emphasis on the work environment, that it should be conducive for learning, adapting, and excelling. How integral is that? Or as a complement to productivity or to excellence?
That is so important. Okay, I mean, for instance, just the conversation Christy and I were having before now. We come into the studio and it's so hot. How would it be? What exactly would it be like? Would we be productive in this interview? Of course, it would be so uncomfortable. So the environment you work in matters a lot. It helps to increase your thinking level. I mean, let me just say flowers, for instance, or plants around the building, around the room. It could actually help your thinking. Just seeing that green and seeing the life. I don't know if you feel that way. I do feel that way a lot of times. Just seeing that helps your thinking. And of course, you know, what are the colors around you? Are they bright? Are they happy colors? Or are they just dull colors you get to see every day? Because in the workspace, you're there for a number of hours in a day. So you should make it a comfortable place, a happy place where your productivity will be seen. You know, so these are just, they're little things, but sometimes you just take them for granted. What about paintings in a room? What about, you know, the really beautiful studio that we have here? What about books, for instance? You know, are they going to, are they there to actually help and enhance people's reading culture? You know, these little things actually help to make one productive. But if we don't get it right, we might just think, okay, somebody chasing us from the village, right? And meanwhile, it's just the colors that are not working, or the fact that you don't have a plant around you, or something, you know, that is making it so difficult for you to be productive. So yeah, your environment matters.
Simple things like flowers, artwork, books, I mean, that's very critical and integral to productivity. Okay, with a conclusion. I don't know whether it's because they're singing over here, but I think gender, this is sensitive or insensitive, but every look at I am never right now. You think female make better bosses?
As I am here, I am very comfortable.
Yes.
With the female or the ladies around me.
Okay, let's go there. Well done.
So, to go into your question,
yes,
why will female bosses not make you productive? No reason. Because for you to have a boss, it is believed that is your leader. And leadership traits does not, these leadership traits don't go with gender.
Okay.
It has to do with your conceptual skill. A female leader knows what he's doing. So if you work with a woman, you must be ready to understand her wishes from you.
Okay.
So, and in most cases, men don't feel like having apprehension working with women.
Okay.
No, when you go into offices, you see that men relate well with their female bosses.
Okay.
Because you cannot talk of sexual harassment.
She's the madam.
She's madam. And as madam, she's the authority.
Yes.
So, to me, it's often a plus to work with a woman.
Okay. I would always say the best thing is to have a heightened sense of self as a boss, as a female boss, when you have to deal with female subordinates. And vice versa. Because if you don't have an ample level of emotional intelligence, there's going to be a lot of friction.
Yes.
Emotional intelligence is very important. Because emotional intelligence says, I know myself, I know my emotions, I can regulate my emotions, and so I can put myself in the place of the other person. I have empathy, because we come as women, we come with all kinds of considerations. If your shoes look better than mine, that morning, I just might take it out on you. You wear better jewelry. If you look better than, if in my own opinion you look better than me, and I'm talking basically now, then I start to feel a bit inferior. That's why I said, insecure. On both sides, you must have a heightened sense of self.
Please break that heightened sense of self down. Just the Western language, so that everybody can grasp.
Sense of self means that you know yourself enough to know
self-worth.
Yes, self-worth, sense of self, adequacy level, because you know what you can do, what you can deliver in the circumstance, in the space, in the workplace, for instance, since we're talking about workplace productivity. Then you would also have to have self-confidence enough not to be rude, not to be obnoxious in delivering Because some people are brilliant, but then they're gruff and very rough on all sides. So they like people to feel that I know it all, you don't know it. I'm the boss here, or I'm the subordinate who gives you the best reports. So you get cocky, you get overly, would I say,
without meaning to people.
Yes, thank you. And so if you have a healthy sense of self, you would not need to be in people's faces, to be noticed, or to be rewarded, or to be recognized. You can be humble, yet be the most known person in the workplace.
Do you have a book? Put one together. Oh no! Let me ask Mr. Adeyemi something. Can we even begin to? You've described how women can work together so effectively, but we've come to learn that people listen. Sometimes they choose not to hear. You've spoken of qualities and mannerisms that everyone can adapt and imbibe and inculcate. It's my hope that by the time the book comes out, the message I've even passed today listen and hear. Sir, please, let's even identify leadership qualities. We often know that in the public service, it's according to promotion. The level you get to, you are promoted. And there have been cases where people are promoted young, some are, but they're all on the same level. You could have a level 15 who is 35 to 40. You could have one that is 50 to 60. But they both have to do the same job, apply a high level of intelligence, brilliance, and know how to manage people. Can we identify qualities, male, gender, women, that every leader or one who aspires to be ought to have, ought to possess, so that we endear ourselves to our colleagues, our peers, and our superiors as well?
You see, as a leader, it is not age related. Your son can, by providence, become the leader. The first thing it takes from subordinate to have the empathy of leader is respect. That one is non-negotiable. And when you see, just like the ladies have said, but
we're enjoying the conversation.
Part of the reasons why they often have frictions within themselves is not being able to define the boundary. If your leader is a female boss, you can even put jewelry from your head to your nail. It doesn't make you the authority. So you must be able to define the boundary. As a leader, you must have empathy for your subordinates. No condition is permanent. A leader today, after 35 years, another one comes.
No matter how good you are, you go. Another one comes in. Yes.
At the same time, you must have listening here. You must be, your subordinates often look up to you for guidance, for correction. When you correct, minding the fact that the emotional impact on your subordinates. Because if you are the shouting type, you are likely to communicate wrongly.
You lose them.
And once you start losing the chunk of your labor, you become isolated. Subordinates talk a lot. What did I do? And in most cases, when you see women to women, you see ones. Then you ask yourself, what has really gone on?
Emotional, yes. Emotional.
It is not that this leader intends to really provoke
that person to that,
but the way it is the sensibilities among You women.
Okay, all right, sir.
You tend to usually go off the radar.
Okay, so yeah, that's all.
No.
Iron women do, but again, what is everybody?
But the iron woman will be the leader.
Let Sophia tell us what infrastructure and logistics for production, the place of that, as far as optimizing productivity is concerned. Sophia, take it from here.
There is a strong link between environment and productivity. And when you have an environment where things are not in order, you come to an office where the office environment is not conducive, you don't have working tools, the environment itself is not clean, you're not sure of a restroom, if you are pressed, it affects your psyche entirely. But when you come to an environment that is welcoming, for instance, in an office, let me take an example of a media organization. You're coming to work in an environment that is already clean. Everything that you need to function is available. And the serenity of the environment alone, affects you, because the work you do, you have to think. It's a mental work you do, an intellectual work. And so you need an environment that will aid your thinking. Like you need a very cool environment. The fan or AC is working in that environment. For instance, for NTA, you see how greenish the environment. Just stepping into that environment alone, set your mood to work. And then coming in, all that you need to work is available, and particularly the personnel, your superior officers, your superiors in the office. This human relationship is very, very important. It helps, to stabilize you as a worker, for you to bring out your best.
When you come into the premises of any institution, what tells you how serious that institution is or that agency is the kind of atmosphere that you see there, the kind of structures and how arranged those structures are. So conducive working environment, number one, shows the seriousness of that organization. And since it's related to that seriousness, it means that every staff of that agency you meet are likely going to be serious. So when people walk into your environment and they see that conducive environment, first and foremost, it gives them that idea that, okay, I'm in a very serious organization and therefore I must comport myself in certain manners, that because the kind of people I'm going to be seeing here are very serious people.
Every employer, every organization yearns for increased productivity. You can only achieve that when you have a motivated workforce. And a motivated workforce can come in so many ways. You cannot employ people to work for you to achieve your goals without providing them with the right tools to work with. This is a broadcast outfit. Imagine that you are doing your job. In the course of doing your job, you do not have microphones to work with. You do not have cameras to work with. You do not have a good studio to work with. What would somebody expect you to achieve? So it's the duty of the employer to provide you with the right tools to work with so you can help to achieve the organizational roles. Without that, it will be effort in futility.
What people watch on the screen, depends on the kinds of facilities we provide for the staff. You would observe that in the recent past, the quality, of our signals have so improved, that they are so tangible and noticeable. People have been commenting and commending the authority for such improvement. What have we done? Basically, what we've done is we've looked at even the resources available, the equipment we have, and we've tried to bring out the best, out of those equipment.
Interesting, amazing. Life is a learning process, and if that idea alone makes everyone humble, those who choose to be anyway. And when you're humble and you know that it's not all about you, feeling empathy for others is easy. But there's a thin line between bosses, subordinates, superiors sometimes. We're learning and we'll keep learning. We urge you to continue to send in your messages. We'll share them with our guests so that we get expert analysis and solutions where necessary. A break back on, so we'll take it. We'll be back. Don't go away.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, it is We Can Deal, and it's all about optimizing productivity both in the private and the public sector. While we're on break, Malam Adepoju, you said something. He said the workplace should not be a slaughter slab. And we all said, carry on, sir.
First and foremost, I'm not Malam.
Okay, sorry.
But my name is Adepoju. You see, what is a slaughter slab? We have defined what a workplace should be in the course of our discussion here. The ambience, the normal things that should be there. What makes it a slaughter slab? What we are going to relate together. We all applied for the job. But by providence, one person is the leader.
Yes.
There must be ability for your subordinate to communicate. Madam has already spoken about communication in the workplace. You must be able to relate with your subordinate in such a way that they will understand the job to be done.
Okay.
Look, in life there must be mistakes.
Yeah.
Whether you do it perfectly or not, there will be element of mistake in the process. That is why you are there as the leader, to correct and educate. Because the essence of mistake is one, to correct so that the mistake is perfected, and educate your subordinates on the way to go for further development. Training is part of education.
Yes.
The essence of training, because he who trains wins. The essence of training is to correct perceived inadequacies in your subordinates. So if somebody is working with you and is saying our Lord's Prayer in the morning before coming to work, or telling the children that, look, I'm going to work today, only God knows what will happen before I come back.
Oh my goodness.
When you talk of productivity, you will not have optimal productivity. Okay. And the essence of working together is to create synergy. Because if you don't work together to create synergy, you are shortchanging the organization.
True.
So you need to create a very conducive environment. Very conducive. So that whoever is coming to work with you is looking up to the work. Not afraid of I'm going to see that man today. I'm going to see that woman. No. The workplace is not a slaughter slab.
Okay. You want to say something about that?
Yes, I was going to talk about when he mentioned the ambience and the spirit of the workplace. It can help enhance productivity or whittle or kill productivity altogether. Sometimes it's the persons. Some other times it's the physical infrastructure itself. Because you go into some offices, and I'm not going to mention particular ministries or departments or agencies, but they don't even have the proper desk. So you're sitting hunched over something that is called a contraption, like a desk. The shoulders poke at the end of the day. You're working and the light is poor. Lighting is important, just like she talked about the temperature. If it's too hot or it's too cold, is a problem. If the light is dim or it's too bright, it's a problem. Bright lights can occasion things like migraines. So some people do not understand why they're forever ill in one form or the other. It could be as a result of the physical environment of the workplace. Sometimes there's too much dust. You go into certain places and the whole surface is, now I know there's a lot of haze, but we can reduce it. So it's much an impression of how we also like our workspaces, because sometimes we should take personal responsibility.
Yes.
But talking about being a slaughter slab, a slaughter place is not a pleasant place.
No.
So I understand, I can relate to what the gentleman is saying. So it should be a place of ambience. If I'm spending 7 to 8 hours a day in a particular space, I expect that it should be such that will give me enough, calmness to be able to go back home. And if we relate it also to the amount of work that is given per time, the work-life balance comes in. That's another concept. I know you probably will develop that sometime. Work-life balance is critical. Having that balance. Don't take too much on that when you get home, you're a spent person and you cannot relate with your family back home. And the next day, you're bringing those frustrations
back to work.
So it becomes a cycle. And it becomes so endemic that it affects productivity ultimately.
Okay, we have some messages here. Let me take 2 of them. Somebody here is, when you reach out to us, please let us know your name and where you are reaching us from. But I'll take this because it's keying directly to some statements that our guests have made today. I worked with 2 women bosses in 28 years. I identified the common factor, which is women tend to trust people they perceive as nice or smart looking. People dress well, they smile at them, they compliment them. Women just say they are good people. When oftentimes I found that they were manipulative and often incompetent. So secondly, female bosses tend to block their minds to anything they perceive as criticism about their work, their ethics. You dare not even talk about their siblings, children, or any of their relatives. I don't know why that should be just for the workplace. But I'm saying that someone was complimenting or praising women for their emotional intelligence, but it's a very thin line. Sometimes they are too emotional. Let me add the second one so you can address the 2, ma'am. Good morning, madam. What an interesting topic. My question is, if your boss is hot-tempered and I showed you how they can be, but you still need to work with them for a period of time every day, how are you to manage that? Felix Obebo from River State.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about different things that Mr. Adirumi and Christy have mentioned, but also to look at, my experience is my experience, you understand, working with a female boss. And this is not just for me as a female. I think the males around the office who were my colleagues, at the time, will also say the same thing, and I know they can attest to that. So I know my experience cannot be another person's experience. I will not excuse that. But at the same time, I have also heard stories of really terrible female bosses, and that's why I keep harping on the point Stadiwumi mentioned of synergy and collaboration. If we all know that we are on this road together, and if we work together, we would actually get the work done. If we understand that, I believe we'd be able to work with anybody at any point in time. The point about the hot-tempered boss, this is where emotional intelligence and, calmness and just, relaxing comes in. Because if you have such a person, you've understood the person. You know this is the kind of person you're working with. So are you doing things to actually aggravate that or make him even more hot-tempered? Or are you doing it because I believe even if it's such a hot-tempered person, if you do your job and do it diligently and put in your best, that will be a testimony for you as a person. So probably the heat from the temper comes from people not doing their jobs, not putting in their best, and all of that. And the boss, shows that kind of temper. But my point is, as workers as well, I know we're talking about leaders and all of that, but as workers in such a space, what are we bringing to the table? Are we actually frustrating the person at the top? Or are we bringing in our best to the table to ensure that things go on. That point about synergy and collaboration is very key, because we're all working towards the same goal. So why would I want to truncate your efforts, or make things difficult for you, since we're all working towards the same goal?
Sometimes it does seem as though, like she said earlier, effective communication is key.
Yes.
Sometimes we've heard some people about it. They don't, because they don't understand that their goals are the same. There can be disharmony. Let me just take one more message so that she can address it, and I'll, you can also contribute, please. This is a man from Bauchi. He says, I like working with female bosses. Many of them have been very good. They are diligent. They are empathetic. He said, but oftentimes, if you disagree with them about some issues, they see it as you are being disloyal. Then he also talked about, yes, a work environment must be conducive. Then he says, Mr. Adomi should address this, that you talked about money not being the only key factor, but money is key. And in addition to our salaries, we should get allowances regularly, because oftentimes we are working more, far more than what we're employed to do.
Can I go?
Yes. Then
I didn't say money is not important. Workers will always, even if you give a basket full of money, there will always be, because when you look at even definition of money, it is never enough. It is, money cannot, I cannot see, you ask yourself, why will a billionaire work? Because, but money is important. Please. There is opportunity to earn more for workers. Employers, please do so. But at the same time, employers must balance the cost of production. Because when you look at the overhead, if the overhead is too high, there will be nothing left for the employer of labor. So that should be, it's a win-win situation now.
Balance.
Give more to your workers to make them comfortable. At the same time, look at the bottom line as employer. You know, in accounting, we always concerned about the bottom line.
The bottom line.
For the work to continue, the bottom line must be properly safeguarded.
Okay.
When it comes to hot-tempered boss, you know, there cannot be two captains in the ship.
Yes, true. That's what you said. Actually,
you must first recognize that.
Yes.
And when emotional intelligence, attitude, we cannot share the same attitude. Even in life, some of us there, when we react, people tend to see us as it has hostile personality. It is often occasioned by psychological triggers. So
if you look at this studio now, we have people wearing different things. Thelma is in red.
This is the Ibira cloth.
It's nice. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
So you look very good too.
Yes. Please, all Chelsea. Oh my goodness. You're just giving Ankara a different definition. Yes. Oh, you look amazing.
You're not talking about your
dress. No, let's go and come. It is time for Fashion Forward. Let's see.
Looking at me right now, what do I look like I'm ready for? Going to work or hanging out with friends or going for a party? Before we continue, let me introduce my guest to you. My name is Dayola.
My name is Fatima Mohamed Baba, the CEO of Timber Styles into Ready to Wear. It's called Bubu with embroidery. And we have so many of them, which is something like this also. You can use it for wedding, you can use it for naming ceremony. And we have the one you can use for office wear. You use it for office wear like this. You can wear it for a party too also, a casual party, birthday party. That's what she's holding there. Is a gown with bead on it. This is different from what I'm wearing. This is bead and stone too. The jackets. This is why you call it jackets. We have different kind of jackets. So like this is a basket jacket. This is a basket jacket. You can also wear this to a birthday party, friends hangouts, socializing around. This is just a new style. It's also something like this. This is a jacket too, but this is more on the covered side.
Everyone often says that Nigerians are very sophisticated and fashionable people, and patience showed that this morning as we sat together before she introduced Dayo's package.
It's important to note that improving productivity is an ongoing project. It never ends. So even the frustrations you feel on the job, try to leverage on whatever strengths you have and reduce that.
Keep being yourself, do your best, put in your best in whatever it is that you do, be diligent in your work, and of course have the right intelligence emotionally.
Thank you.
Be confident where you work.
Okay.
Have positive attitude and shun procrastination.
Okay.
With that, you get to the top.
Absolutely.
God bless Nigeria.